Tamil, Malayalam, great. I'm also Malayali, but English is okay. Tamil is okay. Malayalam is also okay. Okay. So I don't have problems. So here I am being very comfortable. I asked your professor, why did you call me? Now, my brand is not familiar in Coimbatore. It's not familiar in Tamil Nadu. It's familiar in Kerala, yes. We've been in Kerala for many years. So she said, in Kerala we know your brand. I said, okay. So, and she called me. Now, I do not know if she called me knowingly or unknowingly. Because there have been a couple of colleges in Erode and Karur who called me knowingly about what I have been doing. There are a few colleges, even in Chennai, which called me unknowingly also. So I think I just met her when I got out of my car. So that's when I met her. So after the program, maybe I will just ask her that. If you heard of Kongu Engineering College, have you guys heard? I think it's one of the leading colleges in Tamil Nadu. It's based at Erode. So they have a technology business incubator, and they also have an entrepreneurship week. So for the last 2 years, I've been addressing their entrepreneurship week. In fact, I inaugurated their entrepreneurship week last year. So I think even the year before I was there. So this year, I don't know, they might not call me because every time they do not want to see this boring face over and over again. So here also there was an entrepreneurship activity, awareness campaign. What is the name of the entrepreneurship awareness? Week. Oh, week. E-week. E-week. Okay. Now, even there I think it was 4 days. Here it's for a week. It's for 1 week? Yes. 1 week, yeah. Even there it was like 4. So I think most of the colleges have a very similar pattern in organizing this. This was not there in the years when I was doing college. Nobody's even heard about entrepreneurship and its week and all these things. Nobody even knew the name entrepreneur. I think a few of us wanted to become an entrepreneur by ourselves. So that is why I think we got into it. Now, this name is a very fashionable name. It's become the word now in the business arena. Everybody wants to become an entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? I think you already would have had a good inauguration this morning. I think Tulasi Pharmacy's MD was here. So I think he would have shared his experiences also. Now, every entrepreneur who's being called for you for the next few days here, they will never have one thing common to tell you. They will all have different experiences to share with you, because this word entrepreneur and the business of being in this entrepreneurship is so vast, it is so versatile, and there will not be 2-3 people sharing the same experience with you at all. That's the whole best thing about it. Are you all first year? Sorry? Both first and second. So a few of you might have attended one last year also, right? A few of you in this. Okay. So the reason for asking you these things are, you have to get used to this word called entrepreneurship. Now, all of us in college, earlier you finish your college, get into a good job, and the job, what kind of a job was very different. So many years back, it was you wanted to be a doctor and engineer, that's all. Then was software engineer. Now you wanted to be MBAs being popular, and you wanted to get into the management, and now your college also has this aeronautical stuff also. So I think a lot of people want to get into the aircraft maintenance, so get into that field also. So now this week called Entrepreneurship Week is for you guys to become entrepreneurs. Now, how do you become one? Is the question. Now, I will just tell you about me. I wanted to become an entrepreneur. Now, my company is like, it's started in the year 1932. It's been about 80 years plus since my company is started with my great grandfather. And when I was doing college, my dad was looking after the business. So during the year 1932 to Rengi, if I remember. That set me thinking. 6 months I was into mobile, and then I told my dad, I want to get into the business. He said, the first thing he said, I am already facing the brunt of it. So you're also taking the wrong step in doing it. So that's when we make a call. No, I said no. And I went ahead, and what I did with him was, although in my introduction it said that I did my Bachelor of Commerce in Erode, honestly speaking, I haven't finished my degree as of now. I made sure that I do not write the last year's exam. I didn't do it because it was very clear for me that I wanted to be an entrepreneur and get into, and my business was even though it was doing bad, that's the only way I can become an entrepreneur. Because otherwise I have to start something new, start a mobile business. I also wanted to start a mobile business, but I couldn't have the opportunity. My dad had to give me the money, so he was not ready. So I told him that I'm not writing my exams. So he thought I was joking. That's when, for the last 6 months, I started getting and selling into mobiles. So the exams came, and I didn't write it. And that's when he knew that I was serious about it. Now, if I don't finish my degree, where will I get a good job? No way. I will be employed in maybe the mobile same business, getting about 3,000, 4,000 rupees a month. And so he had no other choice. Then he told me that he couldn't force me to do it ultimately. I said, I will not write my exam. I want to get into the business. So he had no other option. Just because I don't get a BCom degree, he had no other option but to put me into the business. So that's when my first step as coming into the business happened. During 94 to 97 was my 3-year period of doing the BCom, and 97, and by the time I finished 6 months of my mobile sales, I joined the Masons as manager operations. I joined the company. There still were a lot of employees at that time. By the time I came in, but 1998, there was employee strength from 300 was reduced to about 100, and I had about 20 depots in Kerala, about 3 depots in Bangalore and 2 depots in Chennai. This is all which was left. So I came in. Now, I thought, what a business. I was given a seat and a room. Thought it was going to be a very comfortable one. Like all of the movies you see that you come after finishing your college, everything is set. You will come like one big shot, you come and sit, dad is the managing director, will come and sit in the chair. You'll start ordering people to do their work and job. That's what even I thought of it. Came and sat down. And that is when I started slowly trying to understand why my dad wanted to sell this business. Number one, the machineries were getting old. It was time to update the machinery. So as long as you don't update your machinery, you cannot grow in volumes. So if we are selling 1,000 kilos this month, if I wanted to sell 2,000 kilos next month, I cannot sell because my machinery will make only 1,000 kilos. Fine. Number two, all the butter and ghee was sent and it was packed in these branches. There are 3 people. Out of 3 people, if 2 people take a leave, nobody is there to pack. That butter and ghee will not go. This is the same in all the 30-40 branches. So you have to be dependent on the people to pack. Number 3, packings have changed. We still had an old bottle with just filling in and setting. It was a very bad pack. So when I sat down, I said, from where do I start? Do I start with the machinery? Do I start with the packaging? Do I start with shutting down the depots? So where will you start? This was the question. So I decided that let me also get into sales and see what's happening. Yes, the sales, there was an opportunity, but ultimately when I used to get 100 kilo more ghee sales, I was not able to pack in time and give. So what is the point? Now that I can't sell, I will not be able to supply. Second thing we decided was, and there were other issues, sales tax. We didn't make our sales tax payment, so there was always a sales tax case running. There was always a purchase tax case running. There was always a PF. You heard of Provident Funds? PF. They're all government statutory organizations where all these have to be paid every month. That was not paid, so you have PF inspectors coming to your office for making payments. So I said, let's start this and get a right way. So I decided once, yes, I'm going to start by closing down the depots. First question, I said that these are the things that I want to do. So he, are you fooling around? The depot is the only place where you will be able to sell. He said he has closed down from so many depots, he has closed down. As and when you close down a depot, whatever 100 kilos of sales is there in the depot, that also goes away. So what do you do? I said, I want to still close down. Okay, you have to close down. You have 3 people working for last 25-30 years. You have to pay them gratuity. You have to pay them their settlement. Where is the money for settling? If you want to hold on there, you have to pay their salaries. So it's a question. Even if you close them, you have a problem. Even if you keep them, you have a problem. So I went back saying, yeah, he is right. That he should be. He's been in the business for so long. You should be right. I'm wrong. I came back and say, okay, these are the problems. So again, where do I start? Still, I had a feeling in my mind that we should be doing something. That's when you move to the market and you go into the market. Till date, a management person has not gone into the market. Nobody is from the management has visited the Trivandrum market. They have not gone and seen the Kannur market. They haven't seen the Calicut market. They come, they go to the shop, and then they go back to their offices. So I decided that let me go and see what the market is. I took a car at that point. I rented a car, and then I started going around. I couldn't believe my eyes. Thousands of outlets have come up all over. And all this outlet has some other brand of butter or ghee which is available there except Nambisans. And you go and ask every person, they know Nambisans? I know Nambisans. Everybody knows Nambisans, but nowhere Nambisans available. That's when I again came back and said, we decided, no, we want to shut down. Don't depend on one outlet. There are thousands of other outlets in the city which is available. So let's not depend upon our branch and then sell. So he said, what is the option? Earlier what they did, they closed the branch and then they walked off. Now I said, we close the branch and then we put a distributor there who will supply to about 100 outlets there. So do you want one outlet sale or you want 100 outlets sale? So I was able to convince him, but I said, no, this is how I'm going to do about it. So, and he also said, okay, this guy's come new, let's try his idea in one area. So we shut down 2 outlets in Trivandrum and I put my distributors there. We had a distributor, we had our outlet in Kannur, but I appointed my first distributor in Kannur. I appointed one there. So let's say one by having the depot and putting a distributor, the other one by closing 2 depots and putting the distributor. Believe me, in 2 months' time, our sales in Trivandrum, that there should be somewhere a method option. I started making some money out of it. So, okay, let's buy some simple other machinery. There were other machineries available. We went in to check. There's a machinery for 12,000 rupees. You just keep, there's a hand sealer. How many of you heard the brand called Sevana? You've all heard, you can see in all bakeries that there's a sealing machine called Sevana. That's also a Kerala-based company from Ernakulam. So we had their machine, so I ordered one from Ernakulam and we started sealing them. So the iron boxes were out. We started decently sealing. Now, this was the way that we started moving, and slowly we shut down. Today, I just have only 2 branches in Kerala. One is Palakkad and one at Kannur, opposite to the station. We just maintain only these 2 branches. We shut down all other branches across all states. We have appointed distributors. We have about 145 distributors in Kerala alone at the moment, and supplying factory at the moment. We have the best of the machines which has been imported from Germany. I have personally visited and chosen the machinery based on its speed, its ability completely. We sit with the machinery manufacturers, find out what we understand. I made a 20-day visit of Europe and brought in all these machineries, right from production to filling to settling to sealing. It's all automated completely. Now when I think back at how I started off, I started with aluminium foils and with the iron box trying to seal. Today we have an automatic machinery which will seal 3,000 bottles an hour. It's about 8 hours. A shift is about 2,400 bottles an hour, which is going to really do wonders for us. Now, what was the learning experience today, which is all about? So, you have to start small. You have no other way. Even if you have a business, you have to start small. If you're going to think, now if I have told my customers that I'm sealing my ghee bottles with iron box, do you think the customer will ever accept me what type of a company this is? But I had no other choice at that point of time. I had to seal my bottles at a cost of 100 rupees. My investment was only 500 rupees then for 5 iron boxes, so I had to use that method. We start moving on, we start handling different situations. Now, we are looking at, an entrepreneur should always be looking at what he has in his hand rather than what he wants to. Yes, he should know where he has to go. But where are we at the moment? What do we have in our hands is very important to be a successful entrepreneur. You might be individually good, but ultimately you have to start building your team. Now, I was looking after sales in Kerala. There was no manager. I could not afford a manager till about 6 years before, which I had to change. You don't even have change is also secondary. What you need to do is you have to find out what is your positive and what is your weakness. Your positives and negatives. What are you? So I think as an entrepreneur, first thing you have to understand is you have to understand what you're good at, what you're not good at. These are the two things which you have to first understand. I think if you are able to understand that well, I think you are qualified to become an entrepreneur. I'm telling you this, even a degree does not make you qualified to become an entrepreneur, a college degree for that matter. Understanding yourself is the first step to become an entrepreneur. I will tell you why with a clear example. Now, I know I have a lot of positives with me. But I started understanding my negatives. My negative is I was basically a lazy person. For less than 27, 28 lakhs per year. That's when I decided that I put my own cold storage to stop. Now, I called 2-3 cold storage people and I said, okay, how much will it cost? One guy came, he said, this is for so much of butter, so much of stuff, you need to put so much of area, so much of butter, so much of refrigeration. Okay, 30 lakhs, one guy came. I took another quote from Chennai, there was another guy from Chennai, he came and gave me a quote of 49 lakhs. He came and gave me a quote of 49 lakhs. So here is it, I got a quote for 30 lakhs and I get a quote for 49 lakhs. So what do? I had no other option but to start getting into physics. I had to sit down and work. What is the average? What are your basics behind? Are there anybody from physics backgrounds or straight away all of you coming into management? What backgrounds? Commerce? What background are you? Physics? Physics? Okay. So at least there will be one guy who will try and understand. You work out the refrigeration load, how much of butter is being stored inside, how much of butter at what temperature, how much of butter comes out on a daily basis, how much of butter, new butter which goes in, the butter which I buy gets into it. So you calculate the refrigeration load, you calculate energy, you start calculating into the kilowatt, you multiply it and get it into kilojoules, and the formulas. So I was here for 1 week trying to understand the formulas and then managing. So an entrepreneur, again, you might think that you might not like something at the moment, but it's okay. You don't have to, initially you don't have to go with something that you don't like it, understand you don't like it, but at the end of the day, years later, you will be forced to do it. Otherwise, take a quote simply with the guy giving 30 lakhs, put a cold storage and go on. Tomorrow I might not know, it might not be working properly, or the 49 lakhs will be a good one, but I would have overpaid it from my profits. So you'll never know. So the best way is to start understanding. You have to get into physics. I have no other option. If I have to calculate the refrigeration option, I have to study physics. I've entered into it. So here you need an attitude and an aptitude. This is what I think to understand that. Today I might need this. I might have to do it myself. Like what I said, that earlier I used to do my sales. Today my manager was there. Today I don't have anybody to do it. Maybe 5 years or 4 years down the line, I might have another senior person in me with a new cold storage. He might be working it out. Today I don't need it because I thought I will understand it myself. So these are the These are the positives you might need to take, what you need to do and what you need people to do. Even if you have so many people to do, you will never know how to give them a job. Have you ever heard of Gangnam Style? Most of you heard, I think not most, everybody. What's the name of the person? What's the name of the Gangnam Style is very famous. What is the name of the person?
PSY.
Huh?
PSY.
PSY. What's the full form of PSY? So he's learned himself a little bit, but what's the full form? Park Jae-sang. That's the Korean name. It has no relation with PSY. Nowhere it is available how Park Jae-sang became PSY. But everybody knows Gangnam Style today. So he has a big challenge. 2 months before, do you know what Dhoni was talked about? The same Dhoni who won the World Cup for us was talked that his leadership, he didn't have any leadership skills. It was a fluke. That was what people started talking about him. He started doing some things and it worked out for him. So it's a fluke. This was what one of the senior Indian cricketers were talking about him. Can you imagine? We were cribbing last year, the last 1983, Kapil Dev won the World Cup and all the Indians were praying to win the World Cup. And here you have a captain who won the World Cup for us. 2 years down the line when India started doing badly, people forget that and people say that it was all fluke. And he had to again hit a double century. Somebody, you guys follow cricket? The last Australian test at Chepauk, he scored a double century. So you have no other choice. You will be pushed. You have to prove again. You have again. There will be a match today. I think the other two boys. I think Chandeshwar Pujara has already scored his double century today. Are you guys aware of it? Do you know what India's score is today? 463 for 4. For 5. Okay. Dhoni is out. Dhoni is out. Okay, but he won the test because in the last test, if he didn't hit his 200, he would have lost the test. So you need leadership skills, and the leadership skills make you an entrepreneur. But then once you are an entrepreneur, you have to keep going high. You have to keep winning. And how many of them can win the World Cup cricket? Only one team can win every 4 years. You have about 14, 15 test playing nations, but only one team can win. But that's immaterial. As long as you start competing, as long as you're in the leadership position, even if you attain the World Cup for us, 2 years, I will not leave this company for quite a while. And I'll be able to train my people. So, out of sales, I have put another guy, production, I put another guy. I'm getting myself free to get these jobs done. So, you also have to rearrange roles as when you grow. So, that's also a big challenge for an entrepreneur. As your organization keeps growing, you have to keep reinventing yourself and rearranging the roles. You decide to be an employee, you decide to be an employee. You get into production, you get into sales, you get into accounts, or you get into implementation, hygiene standards, is your choice, but you start putting, you cannot just put people everywhere. It's easy for me to put another guy, pay him this money, you are in charge of ISO, and then implement it and get the certificate for us, but there is no fun in doing it. The fun is, you like your business, you get into the bottom of this and you make sure that you are able to enjoy the fruits. There is your sweat, blood in one of the activities. You should be born in the month of April between such and such date. Okay, what's written is an Aryan. If you are born in that, you are an Aryan. An Aryan's qualities are, you are very outspoken, you are very frank about things. Number 2. Number 3, an Aryan doesn't want to work under somebody. An Aryan always wants to be an entrepreneur. I think this is one quality which I saw in an Aryan, which I understood later. It is not that. So an Aryan always wants to be a leader. He doesn't want to work under somebody, but he wants to make sure that he delivers. And number 4, an Aryan is very trustworthy. So these are the 4 qualities which I thought they were related to me. I can even talk about Capricorn. Any Capricorns here? Any Sagittarians? I mean, Scorpions here? You should know. You're a Scorpion, man. I mean, I'm not an. All these products into the market, or have one product and start entering into different markets with the same single product. So we've also launched Chennai. We've also launched Delhi. So for me, it is one product and then getting it into all the areas. So that's the advantage in ghee. If I have answered your question rightly.
We are so glad to have you here. We've been touched by your entrepreneur's journey so far. I'm just curious to know that from your speech, what I understood, you're always driven by passion, not by education, not by any particular skill or something. The passion that drove you to entrepreneurial abilities. Okay? And I have read, so many about entrepreneurs, what their life and their crucial decision making. But my only curious is, are entrepreneurs born of me? For instance, some say that entrepreneurship skills are there in their DNA, maybe from the family business you got from your father. Some say that even they can be made through entrepreneur sections or attending, when we come, to practice contacts. The contacts game was still is it something like you trust your instincts and then you do it. You are interesting. Am I audible, sir?
You're audible, but I still don't understand your question actually.
Fellow entrepreneurs, അവര് റിസ്ക് എടുക്കാറുണ്ട് ആൻഡ് അവരുടെ ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റ് ഞാനിങ്ങനെ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ സക്സസ്ഫുൾ ആവും. ചില ആൾക്കാർ അവർ പറയുന്ന ഓണസ്റ്റ് മെയിൻ അല്ല, നമ്മൾ കുറേ ഓണസ്റ്റ്
Okay, that's the first question. Okay. Just one question from you? That's the only question. Okay. See, what he was trying to ask is whether entrepreneurship is purely through contacts, whether is it your passion, is it your gut feeling to go about, or is it your training? You get trained, you meet a lot of people, is networking through which? I think first your gut feeling. You have to take the risk. If you feel, see, for me, will somebody take a risk of not writing their last year's exam? If I had taken, I know I will pass it. I was not a brilliant student, or I was not an average, I was a mid-guy student. I would have passed it and I would have got a job, but I knew that once I did that, my father will send me to work. He will not make me an entrepreneur. So that's a gut feeling, like you said. It's a gut feeling. It's my decision that I know what my father's weakness was. If I don't study, if I don't get a degree, he'll put me into the business. We'll know the option. So that is where I get my leverage. So I'm not saying that you guys have to follow it, but maybe your dads will be more understandable, or his vision, maybe his businesses would be. At that point of time, I had to do that to get into my business. So that's what I did. Number two, today I do a lot of networking. I'm a member of so many other organizations. So I do a lot of networking when I go for a lot of meetings. This meeting is also a networking meeting also. This is, like you said, it's a networking meeting again. So, but these are all only additions. The core base is what you want to do, and go ahead and do the risk. See, what if I had failed in my, if I was not able to run the business successfully? I took a big risk. At least then I would have thought that I could have at least studied well, so I would have got a good job. So that's a risk I took, but that's a calculated risk. Today I have so many MBAs I have working for me. I have microbiologists working for me. My plant managers are more educated than me. Today I want educated people to join me to run the business. So that is also there. So at that time, that's a risk that I took. It worked out for me. That's why I said every entrepreneur will have his different view of sharing. For somebody else, they might say, no, you have to study unless you get a degree, because he would have had a safe path. He would not have a risky path. I had a risky path to come across, so I had to take the risk. And believe me, if you take a risk, only then you will be able to look at an opportunity. Then look You cannot expect where will you get an opportunity? You just can't go to the road and make sure that the opportunities come to you. You have to take a risk. By taking a risk, you will get the opportunities. Pick up the right ones. You might fail initially, but don't leave your gut feeling, just go behind it. You will be able to get it done.
Sir, in a marketing strategy or not?
Okay, before that, no. I would like to know your name.
Arun.
Arun. Okay. The marketing strategy.
ഞാൻ ഇന്നേറെ ഈ അംബിഷൻസ് ഫിലിപ്പിൽ ഞാൻ എറണാകുളത്താണ്. സോ ഞാൻ ഇന്നേറെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല. ഞാൻ ഫിലിം മാത്രമേ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അത് എങ്ങനെയാണ് മാർക്കറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്?
All right. Okay. See, you have not seen Ambitions because we don't advertise on TV. Our advertisement is available. It comes during Onam. The customer has to realize he buys the product at 5 rupees more or 10 rupees more the bottle. He has to get value in it. That's all I need to see. So that's that. So answering your question of what is your marketing activity, right now is taking. We have about 45 executives all across Kerala at the moment. The highest any ghee company has. Hindustan Lever has about 70 guys in the market. They are the biggies. But for our sales, we have close to about 45 guys in the market, manned by executives, interim sales representatives, executives, sales officers, territory sales managers, and then you have all Kerala manager who heads these control. Make sure that we keep our placements, all the outlets, as much as possible increase, and then give the advertisement. So the other way is, you come with a lot of money, throw it, blow it up, like the MNCs which do for Pepsi. Their advertising budget is 200 crores per year. They are able to afford. People like us, we cannot throw that money. We have to, it's safe spending. So you have to do things safely. You cannot take a risk. So here we take calculated risk. You cannot just blow 3-4 crores and then expect sales to jump up. You can't do. I can only spend because I know this money is going to be safe spending. My sales is going to increase by about 30%, 40%. People will start slowly knowing. So that's the marketing time. Now we are going in for the TV advertisements.
Hello sir, my name is Shabil Hamid from 2nd MBA. You said you're from Shabil Hamid.
Shabir, okay. Shabil,
Yeah.
okay.
You said you're from Calicut. I'm also from Calicut, so I'd like to know that you have a plant in Calicut. And my second question is,
No, we don't have a plant, but
I mean, where it all started. Is it
Yeah.
from Calicut or?
yeah, Calicut, Kannur, that's the roots.
My second question is, have you any idea to step into global market?
Yes.
Yes, a lot of Keralites are settled abroad, and your take on that.
Thank you. I just today confirmed my Arabic writings on the new packaging. He was asking me, he is spot on with global. New tin packaging is also getting released, and for that, to the Gulf, you have certain packaging norms for Gulf, that your brand name, your product which is ghee, your net contents, your ingredients, these 4 things have to be in Arabic. So I just finished. I was on search for an Arabic translator at Erode, and I finally found one guy last week. We've given it to him. The final proof has just come, just approved it. I think maybe in a month or 2, we will have our placements in Dubai, starting from there and to across all the GCC countries across. That's the move. Yes. That's the reason why we've gone in for the ISO 22000, because once you get ISO 22000, people never ask, okay, it's an ISO 22000 company. They have their documents and processes in place. Nobody will question you. So you need to make sure that without an ISO, without a documentation, how can I go for exports? I don't want to do that. Don't want to take a risk of giving money and then getting into exports. These risks. So another two months of time, we should be on the shelves in Dubai. Thank you. So I think, is that all? Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity.